On the Wake Up Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, Black family, and welcome to On the Wake Up Radio. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to our wonderful producer, Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and now on thewakeupradio.com, as well as OTWTube, that is OTWTUBE.com. Greetings to Brother Elijah, greetings to Sister Vanessa, greetings to You Got Ripped Off, greetings to Sister Nina, greetings to our wonderful producer, and greetings to Brother John. So I see we have a lot of people here already in the building. I don't know if this is a better time for you all, but I had some business to take care of earlier today, so it forced me into this time slot. This won't be regular because it's not the most convenient time for me, but I wanted to do the show today. I don't want to leave any open Sundays, especially. So, but before we get to today's discussion, which will be do Black people hate Asians, and if not, should they? We're gonna pursue that question and have that discussion. But before that, I just want to again thank everyone who either attended in person or purchased the live stream of the Dr. Francis Cress Welsing Day event. BB482 Dessalines, Brother Dessalines, always good to see you. Again, I want to thank everybody that attended that event, everyone that purchased the event, watched on the live stream. It is possible, I'll put it this way, it's probable that we'll do the rewatch party, as I call it, either 2 weeks from Friday or 2 weeks from Saturday. And it's just a matter of me making out time, blocking out a 2-3 hour window for that. And everyone that has the link already will be able to watch it together collectively at that time. And then it'll be taken down, edited, and it'll be available for purchase. And I will decide, those of you all who have been consistently purchasing the live streams and consistently supporting will probably receive a discount when that is available for purchase, with the caveat that we're able to edit it and put it in a format that's quality, because I did see the problems with the camera. There was a camera setting issue, and that's what caused the camera to kind of blink out. And so we'll have to see how we can work around that. If we're able to work around that, then it'll be available. Some people have been asking for it. I think it's very timely and very pertinent information. We can't be in this time divided, man against woman, because what we're going to face and what we're facing, we're going to have to face together. And, off topic, but we've all seen the ramping up of the homophile assault on our children with the whole Lil Nas X situation, propaganda, psychological warfare that's been put out. There will be a short form video on that, as well as that'll probably be next week's discussion, and I may not wait until the normal time. That may end up being a Saturday discussion, may even be a Friday night discussion. It just depends on how I can make time, because that's obviously on everyone's mind. And if you've seen it, I don't even have to say anymore. But that's not this week's discussion. So, also, yeah, I forgot to mention this. I have said for a while, and now I'm going to do it. So I'm going to release the first short form video, which these will usually be between 10 and 15 minutes. Right now they're called Radical Reports. For those who have subscribed, and if you're not subscribed to the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page. Capital D, small c, Radical, the numeral 1. So you will be seeing these being released. Basically want to work up to daily. And so I have a couple that are in the can, so to speak, just dealing with some different issues and different stories that I don't think are being addressed, or enough light is being brought to them. And then some cases that are old, but they're still being adjudicated. And this is what happens for black people. A heinous crime happens to a black person or a group of black people, right? Everyone's outraged at the time. And then the slow wheels of quote unquote justice turn. And then what happens is that you look up, it's been 6 months, it's been 9 months, it's been 15 months. And most of our people, because so many things are happening, peace to Brother Dawood, because so many things are happening, we completely forget about that situation or that case unless you live in that community. And so because of that, and because of some of the things I saw, I said, okay, some of these things we have to keep in the public consciousness, I feel, and to keep pressure, because a lot of times with these cases, if they feel like they can let a person get away with it because the outrage has simmered down over that, year plus span, then these people go free and we forget, because we're on to the next one and we're constantly chasing after the new story or the new situation. And, people go free, or the situation is never resolved, or we never receive justice, or whatever the case may be. And so that new format of short form videos is coming. In fact, like I said, I have a couple in the can. I want to definitely look at them again. I'm stuck between making the quality as high as possible and getting the content out. And so with that, I'll just say that as I do more and more, and as I get the formula down, you'll see more and better. Right now, you'll see what I have, and it'll get better along the way. And You Got Ripped Off says, race work isn't easy nor free, so please show some support and give a donation for the cause. Cash App DC Radical 1. I appreciate you, brother. You Got Ripped Off. And let me say this real quick. Between the number of people who showed up physically and the live stream, and the number of people who donated in the wake of that event, y'all have shown tremendous support. The only thing that I want now is to expand the listenership, expand the base, expand the brand. So as much as I love to see everyone here every week, my core group of listeners and supporters, and because y'all support me on Instagram, and some of you all may be on Twitter. I don't know. Twitter is weird. I'm not always on there because it's just a weird place right now. But I just wanted to thank everybody who has shown support, which is most of the people who are here now. The support has been tremendous. It has it allowed me to pay off the new streaming computer just with the sales. So like I told somebody today, that's the people's computer, because y'all bought it. So that's the people's computer. It'll be used almost exclusively for streaming and putting out content, you know. And again, I thank you all for that, because as we do this new thing with what they call hybrid events of streaming and live events, you know, it's going to constantly take more and better technology in order to make it attractive to people. Greetings to Sister Shaniqua. And so that is all the announcements. Okay, so let's get into this thing. Let's get into this Asian thing real quick, right? Because I don't plan to be long. As Dr. Collar say, don't want to be long, but we do want to be strong. But and as we've seen, there's been this discussion about black violence against Asians and Asian hate and things like that. And it's, you know, it's so interesting. You never kind of know. Greetings to Unique One Express. You never kind of know what the Europeans going to do. And I'm not going to lie, this isn't something that I saw coming. I could see a ramping up of racial tension between black people and Hispanics, and of course black people and white people. That goes without saying. But this Asian thing and this making black people the face of Asian hate, I did not see this coming before it happened. And I just sat back and looked at it and I thought about it, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, you know, they'll do anything to distract black people from uniting with ourselves. And I have a clip that I'm gonna show shortly, and it goes right to the point of how easily black people are distracted in the wake of the whole. Now remember, we've had the Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all these things happening, right? Black people being murdered wholesale, people focusing on black people right to breathe, basically, to exist. You know, as Dr. Collins said, we had to resist to exist, right? And then next thing you know, here we are with this stuff, with a couple of incidents, with some grainy video. You can't even really tell what's going on, and somebody hitting some elderly Asian person and running off. And suddenly, all of a sudden, black people just let them tell it. Black people just running around, just, you know, smacking Asians up all over the place. And, you know, of course, it's ridiculous. However, it's something that we have to address and debunk, but also show that even if this were the case, there is indeed, or how can I put it? There would be a reason based upon how we've been treated to have animosity towards other people, right? So, Sister Farnessa says, black folks don't hate these people, but we should. We are their economic base and must stop if we are to succeed. Right, and I was going to get to that. Right. But that's an excellent point. I might as well address it now, because I was getting ready to go there. For black people to be hating Asians, right? Let's look at the amount of money that we spend in their shops. As far as just, if we just deal with like hair care, we're talking about over $25 million a year, right? Oh, I'm talking about, that's the bare minimum estimate. People that you hate, you don't spend $25 million a year with. That doesn't include the food. So, if we added this stuff up, and we're probably spending easily over $100 million per year, right? With the Asian people that the media is trying to tell everyone else that we hate, right? So somebody is lying, because you don't spend money with people you hate. Everyone hates black people. And how do we know? One of the ways we know, because no one comes and spends money in the black community except black people, right? So again, we're here to dispel the myth, but as we dispel the myth, we're going to also show that if it were even true, there would be a basis for it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to watch a portion of this clip from Stop Asian Hate rally. So I just want to go to show how easily black people are derailed from their own fight and their own struggles for liberation.
Asian lives matter! Asian lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Asian lives matter! Asian lives matter! Black lives matter!
因为我们觉得发生的事情使我们感觉不安全，我们要向政府请示，要求保证我们的安全。
这么多人被惨遭杀害，我们感觉很痛心。我们应该要政府来支持我们亚裔人。
It took an elderly, 84-year-old man, Thai, our grandfather, to get murdered for people to be aware. It took 6 Asian women massacred and murdered for people to care. What else is it going to take? When are we going to see change? When are we going to wake the f*** up? When? And it's so painful that, so much of the attacks and the violence had come, from like people of color. It's so painful. Because we're in this fight together. We're in this fight together.
We call solidarity to let you guys know that we see what's happening, because some of you guys, if not all you guys, saw what's been happening to us since day one. And I want to make sure that you know that we are on your side at all times.
All right. So I just wanted to show that because I wanted to show how black people are easily distracted from black liberation and how we're always seeking unity outside of ourselves, right? Now, this person is like, you've seen our struggle and this and that, and we're with you, blah, 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 blah. But I want to bring up a picture and remind people what Asians were doing just not too long ago, right? I just want people to remind people. I just want to look at this picture real quick. Who's that? That's Tao Thao. You know who Tao Thao is? Tao Thao is a cop that sat there with that goofy look on his face while George Floyd was being murdered. Does this look like the face of a person that's allied with black people? Does this look like a person that's doing anything to help a black man that's being murdered? Right behind, 2 feet behind him, a black man is being murdered. He's not even looking. He wants to make sure, he's the lookout to make sure that the people don't rush the cops and save George Floyd's life. But these people want to tell us that they're our allies and we should be aligned with them and working with them, and Asian lives matter and Black lives matter and all this. What happened this day? Black lives didn't matter this day. What happened? The Asian was right there. But see, the symbolism of it is this is exactly how white supremacy works. The whites do the deed, and the close to whites look the other way. This is exactly how it works. We don't see any Asian people. How many times when black people being brutalized, where are all these Asians with all these martial arts skills and everything? Where do they come? When do they come up and start beating up white people? When does that happen? Does anybody have any documentation on that? But these people want us to believe that they're our friends when this is obvious these are not our friends. Because if these were our friends, would Tao Thao be looking the other way? While George Floyd is being choked out by Chauvin? I mean, we have to deal with actions and not words, right? But we're going to leave Tao Thao alone for now, right? You're going to say, because people going to say, oh man, that's just one example. He's a police, this and this and that. So we're going to go back. Because our problem with Asians here in America is not new. So we're going to go back decades to a situation, one of the most heinous crimes in the world. And again, it's going to show how the Asians and Yurugu work together.
As our victim turned to walk away from the scene, the suspect raised a weapon and shot the victim in the back of the head.
Latasha was an A student, honor roll student. She got money every week for her allowance, so she did not have to steal orange juice.
The store clerk, a Korean woman, is now in jail. The black community is outraged over the killing. The NAACP is demanding the clerk be tried for murder.
We want justice!
The court, please read the verdict. The title of court and cause. We, the jury, in the above-entitled action, find the defendant, Singh Jadu, guilty of voluntary manslaughter in violation of Penal Code Section 192A.
It is not a time for rhetoric, which serves no purpose other than to fuel the fire. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire that's already burning. It is my opinion that Mrs. Du is not a danger to the community and that she is not going to reoffend.
I know a criminal when I see one. I know a person who presents a danger to the community when I see one. When I don't, I treat that person as something other than that.
She got away with murder.
I damn sure hope so, that there would be all the hell in the black community.
Somebody would care.
Stand up and see this insanity for exactly what it is. Black people once again being unjustly treated by this
Since we don't pick cotton anymore and cut sugar cane, our lives is not worth anything.
Now, here's the thing. This case of our sister in LA that was murdered by, I don't even remember what the Asian woman's name is. This happened like, I believe 1990. Somebody correct me. 1990, 91, 89, somewhere in that area. And again, I talked about how the Asians and the whites work together. So this is 30 years ago, right? This sister was murdered for nothing. She had money in her hand. You got ripped off, said 95? Okay, I thought it was before that. And she tries to say that the sister was stealing. They tussle over the bag and she shot her in the head. Now, I had actually a clip that's more, they did a reenactment in a movie. I had a clip that was more vivid, but I didn't know if they would kind of censor the video, so I didn't even put that one in. But again, these are people that claim, oh, black people are hurting us and black people are being racist. All I'm saying is, this person murdered our sister, got off with a slap on the wrist. Oh, the brother said, I'm right, 1991. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I remember because Ice Cube made a song called Black Korea. So she murdered our sister. She basically got off with a slap on the wrist by the European female judge. And then we're supposed to act like this never happened. We're supposed to act like all the times that if you are, especially if you're from my generation, because it seemed like this when the Asian stores kind of became prominent, We're trying to act like we've never been followed in the store. We have to act like we've never been, like in the movie Menace to Society, where they told them what? They told them, hurry up and buy. We're trying to act like that never happens, right? We're trying to act like they don't sell poison food. And we're supposed to act like the things that are going on in China with Africans being thrown out on the street and being blamed, the COVID being blamed on them. We're supposed to act like none of this ever took place, right? But somehow we're painted as the aggressor in this situation, and then they're making tensions rise as if black people are just seeking out and beating up because they're not even. This is what's crazy. From what I've seen, they're not even saying we're just running around rampantly killing Asians. They're just saying we're beating up Asians, right? Meanwhile, as we know, and I didn't bother to load up the clip because I figured we all know and seen that, a whole European male goes and kills 6 Asian women. And the first thing they say, the very first thing they say is, we don't believe it's racial. Sure. And then they say, oh, he had sex addiction. Well, here's my thing. If it wasn't racial, how come he ain't killing any white women? Right? If you got sex addiction, there's no white prostitution around, right? He didn't kill any black women, thankfully. Right? It was only Asian women, but it wasn't racial. But if somebody black hits somebody Asian in the head and goes through their pockets, it's racial. Even though black people hit other black people in the head and go through their pockets every single day. And so this is the whole propaganda that's being put out, and this is why we're having this discussion today. And Sister Vanessa says they're also putting out articles saying gun buying has increased amongst Asians. Gun buying has increased amongst everyone in America. Like, getting ammunition now is extremely difficult because everyone in America is buying guns. And John Austin says Asians seem to have a problem with Africans in and part of China and India. Yeah. Look, black people are not loved anywhere, even amongst ourselves, which is the biggest problem. But I wanted to remind people of how far back these things go. But to go back to the discussion of the money we spend, even when we spend money in their communities, no one talks about the type of customer service that we get. Like I said, the hurry up and buy and the things like that, right? Everyone wants to forget the blatant attacks on black women in these Asian shops, where sisters go get their nails done or hair or whatever, buy from the hair place or whatever the case may be, right? No one ever talks about the type of customer disservice that we receive. So I'm going to load this clip up so we can have a reminder of the type of treatment we get as we spend millions and probably hundreds of millions of dollars in their community. And Brother Dessalines said we need to circulate the term anti-black with more intensity. Start calling people anti-black and anti-African. Indeed, brother. Yeah, we, without question, we definitely need to do that. So we're going to watch this clip real quick. And just to remind us and remind people out there who want to talk about some anti-Asian behavior, we're going to show some extremely anti-black behavior from Asians.
Where's the key? Look, let's have a He was fighting her like a man. Get off her, tell him get off of her neck. Get off of her neck.
He's holding her neck down.
He can snap her neck and kill her. He can kill her. Tell him get off of her neck. Get off of her neck. I don't care. Get off her neck. Get off of her neck. Kill yourself, girl. Kill him. This don't make any sense. Get off of her neck.
Get it. Yeah, you can't be for a long time.
Now, this is a man fighting a woman as if this is some type of MMA competition. And I don't have the full context, but it doesn't really matter. The reality of the situation is that it's obviously a situation where there were not any men around. And even if there were males around, there weren't any men around. Right? And this man, and then his, what looks like might have been his son or whatever, he's standing around. No Asian person whatsoever cared about her life at all. And he could have seriously injured this sister, and it's possible he may have, right? And this was from a couple of years ago. But they want to tell us that there's some hate from black people towards Asian. Now, let's be realistic. Can we be real here? If there was some actual hate towards Asians in this situation, that dude wouldn't be breathing. It's just plain and simple. There was a time where that dude wouldn't be breathing. And let me just say that even though I don't have the clip, there was situations where brothers went into stores, and this was deep. Went into stores, told sisters, hey, get out of this store, because these people been disrespecting black women. And the brother destroyed the glass front of the store. He just said, look, you're not going to be disrespecting black women in here. We just going to, we're going to handle it like this. You're not going to have no store if you're going to be disrespecting black women. And the thing that was crazy is that he had a sister go and tell the sisters to get out the store. The sisters looked at him like it was crazy. He started destroying the windows, and then the sisters were looking like, why are you doing that? So you understand what I'm saying here? I'm saying, like, I could say, right? Or sisters would normally say, what do sisters normally say on social media? Black men aren't protecting us. So a black man says, hey, you know what? Not only am I going to protect you, but I'm going to disincentivize the behavior of the Asian merchant to disrespect you. But if he does what he does, and then as soon as they get the new window pane up, the sisters come back tomorrow, here we go. It defeats the purpose, right? Just like we had the Black Lives Matter people sitting around talking about stopping Asian hate or whatever. He talking about solidarity. You're not in solidarity with black people. You're not doing any work in the community. You're not helping the people, black people that need help where they are. You're not helping black businesses. None of those people, when they left that rally, are going to help black people do anything. But you want to talk about being in solidarity. That doesn't make any sense. And Brother John says, don't need the hate, yet too many Asians like to put their hands on Africans. And see, and the whole thing is, when I was growing up, and I don't think now they probably don't let you teach that, but when I was growing up, really, and I didn't think about it, really our parents taught what I would like to call the myotic method, which means to give what you have received, right? Someone put their hands on you, what do we say? Put your hands on them. That's myot. That's the principle, African principle of myot. It's reciprocity. But black people practice reciprocity with each other, but we don't practice reciprocity with other people. And Sister Shaniqua says, I will do my own nails and feet before I deal with them. Yeah, and we just need more of that. And it's not just the sisters, because while the sisters, we see the sisters in there getting their nails and feet and all that stuff done, let's not act like brothers don't sit in front of the Asian liquor store literally all day, beg you for your hard-earned money, and then go in there and support Mr. Wang. Right? Or let's not act like black people not still going up into the what we call here the carry-out. I don't know what they call them across the country, but in this area they call it the carry-out, because they don't want you sitting in there eating. So they made the store literally so you can't sit down. They don't have any seats in there. You got to carry it out, right? And I didn't think about it till right before the show, but I remember when Marion Barry, when he was alive, there was a big controversy because he was like, first of all, these people selling us poison food in these dirty Asian shops. That's what he said. I'm quoting Marion Barry. I'm not saying the shop is dirty or not. I'm saying Marion Barry said, quote, these dirty Asian shops. And then they jumped on him. But by that time he was old, so he didn't care. Like, he issued some, you know how you issue an apology in order to issue an apology, but it's obvious that you really don't, you stand on what you said, basically. Like, anybody was offended, blah, 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 blah. He gave one of those apologies. So we knew where he stood. And the thing was that black people laughed, because black people were like, he's right. He's got a point. If you in the hood, because he represented Southeast DC, which at the time was the most economically deprived section of DC. If you go to Southeast and you go in most of these shops, yeah, they were not immaculately clean. It is what it is. But and Brother Allen says, used to love 4 wings with mumbo sauce and fried rice until I woke up. Yeah, I think we all went through that phase. And that's I always thought mumbo sauce. To this day, I actually don't even know what the ingredients of mumbo sauce is, And I remember, man, this was a long time ago. Somebody was telling me that they were talking to an Asian immigrant that had a store, and he asked him what mumbo sauce was, and he told him, and then he's like, bro, you don't even want to know. And I'm like, well, how bad can it be that you don't want to tell me? And I don't know if he figured I would just I don't know if he figured I would just go in somebody's shop and start smacking them up after I found out what it was, but I've never found the answer to that day. But people tell you something like that, your imagination runs wild. You're like, well, what are they feeding us, right? But to that point of what are they feeding us, we have another clip that I'm just going to show that just goes to show the types of things that they will feed us, not only here, but on the continent.
A top Chinese official has refuted claims that China has been selling human meat as corned beef in Africa. China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Hong Li was reacting to reports on social media after an unnamed Zambian woman living in China warned people against consuming corned beef from that country. The woman said that Chinese farms had been collecting dead bodies and packaging them in cans before sending them to Africa.
We express dissatisfaction towards irresponsible reports. The Chinese embassy in Zambia has introduced the true circumstances to the Zambian government and the public and asked relevant media to investigate relevant reports thoroughly and eliminate the serious negative effects brought by such reports.
The Zambian government has said it will launch investigations into the alleged
Now, I don't know if y'all could hear that because the volume was a little bit lower than I remember, but they were saying that there were reports that they were selling dead bodies as corned beef in Zambia. And if you listen closely to that his explanation, whoever the Asian official was, the Chinese official was, he did not say, man, that's impossible. There is absolutely no way that is happening. He didn't say that. He said, we are going to investigate all relevant reports and stop whatever may be happening. Just think about that, right? Think about what he said. He didn't say, oh, this is completely false and there's absolutely no way any of that could ever happen. Nah, that's not what he said. He said, oh yeah, we'll investigate that, and, just to check and see if there's anything to it. That in itself is an admission of the possibility of it taking place. But they want to tell us about some Asian hate. But if we knew this, maybe there would be some Asian hate. I know there are clips that I have that I normally save for the lectures, and then there are clips I have that I can show on here or in the lecture, depending on where I am, showing the types of stuff that they really eat and the types of stuff that they feed to us. But they want to tell us, the media wants to tell us that we have to stop hating them. Meanwhile, in an African country, they may or may not, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, be selling dead bodies ground up as meat to black people. But black people's prejudice is the problem. No one covers this. No one talks about this. As y'all saw, that was on African News. Was that on CNN? Was that on MSNBC? His sister says I haven't eaten Chinese food in years. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the last time I bought something from one of those restaurants. Cause I remember they were saying that there was a rumor, and I never confirmed it, but I didn't have to. There was a rumor that some of the wings or wingettes or whatever wasn't actually chicken; it was rat hips. Now, it sounds crazy until you actually see Chinese people make rat soup for the Chinese New Year, for the year of the rat, which occurs every 12 years. And then you realize that the possibility of this is extremely high because that's something they eat. I've seen it. I got the video. First of all, the video is, for whatever reason, is crystal clear. When I saw it, I was like, first of all, this is one of the clearest videos I've ever seen. And the process that they go through seems to actually happen like in slow motion. It just seems like it's just excruciating. Like they show you every detail and you just like, man. And that's why I've never shown it in a lecture. Because I don't think people could stomach it, because I could barely stomach it. And it's what I do. I research and bring this stuff up, bring people's attention to it. And so, I mean, this is the situation, and this is the other side of the coin. This is us telling our story of the interactions that we have with them and how we get treated by them, because it seems like no one wants to talk about that part. And Unique One Express says, not to mention rats being sold in platters. Hey, look, we already know. And Sister Shaniqua says, if I don't make it at home myself, I don't want it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I like to eat. I like to eat out at places. I have an affinity for Ethiopian food, and some West African food as well. And Sister Farnessa says, you really do need to show it in the lecture. If black folk continue to eat it after seeing that, then it's on them, not you. Yeah, the stuff I got, if I show it in the lecture, you might not eat anything again. Some of that stuff is like, oh my. But yeah, I just wanted to show the other side of the coin and show the full relationship between us and other people, because it's just, everyone nowadays has a short attention span. Everyone, there's so many things going on, there's so much stuff happening, and so you can kind of forget, and they do everything they can to erase these stories that affect us and to show their story and their narrative. And I wanted to show our story and their narrative, but there was one more story I wanted to show, because again, I did not see this getting a lot of press. I did not see it getting a lot of media, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think where it is, but it's in one of y'all's town where this took place. So we're going to look at this clip real quick, of a black family that was murdered, and there was what looks like an Asian and a European involved, and there was a third person, but they have not shown that person because of their age. So we're going to watch that clip, we're going to talk about that, and then we're just going to close this out, because I do have other things to do, but this is something I had to address. So we're going to watch that report right now.
One step closer to justice for the Gile family. Two 16-year-olds accused of starting the fire that killed 5 members of the same family will now be tried as adults. This is our first look at those 2 suspects who now face 60 felony counts.
There is a third, a 15-year-old suspect, still being charged as a juvenile. And today, what is left of that charred house was torn down. Number 7's Gary Brode reports.
These 2 16-year-olds just became adults in the court's eye, and they're now facing dozens of charges in the August house fire that killed 5 people, including 2 children.
It's a crime that even many adults would never think of committing, right? So I think anybody who can come around to committing that deserves to get the book thrown at them.
Kevin Bowie and Gavin Seymour, both 16-year-olds, are facing charges for a fire that killed Jabril and Aja Joel and their 2-year-old daughter, Kaja, along with Jabril's sister, Hassan, and her infant daughter, Hawa. Amadou Jang says every time new information is brought to light in the case of his friend's murder, he relives that horrible night.
We just go right back to that day. It's as if it had just happened. I know, it's the way I felt when we got the information on Wednesday. I remember going to bed at night just feeling confused, right? It was just, why would this happen? Why would it happen to GB and his family? And then why would this crime be committed by such young kids?
Bowie and Seymour are being charged with 60 felonies, including first-degree murder. A 15-year-old was also arrested and is charged with 47 felony counts. His name has not been released, as his case will be referred to the juvenile courts. But the district attorney is requesting that he also be tried as an adult.
There is a lot that still doesn't make sense. And I think until we have answers to all of those questions, then we still are a long way to go in this process of healing.
Jang tells me now the police claim that they have the people responsible for the fire. The family and friends now want to know the how, and maybe more importantly here, the why.
Now, yeah, brother, you got ripped off. Right. You said, okay, you said that's 20 minutes from your house. You saying there's not even news coverage of it there. And again, that shows how they frame the narrative. You're saying this is local news, and you're not seeing anything covering it. So you already know that on the news where I am, which is 1,500, 2,000 miles away from where you are, or whatever the number is, and other people who are different parts of the country, there's no way that they're seeing it if you're not seeing it, and they're barely covering it. And then, like I said before, what happens? We all see it. We get outraged. They take the case. They take as long as they can to adjudicate it. We forget about it because something else takes place. And then these people, they say they're going to be tried as adults, but again, we don't know. The judge may say something different. They could be out in 4 years, 5 years. We have no idea. Even though it looks like, okay, they give them, I believe he said 60 charges, right? We don't know what may stick. We don't know what type of deal they'll make. We have no idea. And again, as it goes on, as fewer and fewer of us pay attention, the chances go up that the charges may be lessened and or dropped. And Brother Dessalines says 19 people watching, but only 7 likes. Hit the like button, please. Yes, please hit the like button. I see between 19 and 20 people. Smash the like button, or as some people say, ring the doorbell as you come into the building. But I mean, I wanted to do this because I just want to show how they craft the narrative and how we fall for it, and we're bamboozled by this stuff every time, and how we never stop and think, wait a minute, what about all the things that this group of people have done to black people, or this other group of people have done to black people, and so forth and so on. The same thing, and I had meant to do a video on it with the whole, and that's been maybe a couple of months ago now, the whole Jewish, the Black Jewish Alliance thing. They act as if black people have done all this great harm to Jewish people. And of course, we know the whole, all you need to read is Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and you can disperse with that. You can end that discussion right there. There's nothing else to say when you bring that documentation out. But because many of our people don't study, many of our people don't know our history, many of our people don't know the history of interaction between ourselves and any other group of people, we get caught up into these things where people induce us into forming alliances and taking up causes of people who aren't even our friends and never have been, and have never had our best interests at heart. And we fall victim to this, and we're bamboozled by it and flim-flammed, seemingly on a daily basis. And You Got Ripped Off says the DA is a potential hat. The Asian named bull got 48 charges, more than his Yurugu conspirators. Oh, so they piled all the charges. It is funny because it's not surprising. They piled most of the charges on the Asian and a minimum amount on Yurugu. A BB for Hodier and straight black pride to a BB for Hodier, man. Good to see you in the building, brother. And see, and that's the thing that's deep, is that these people will come here. They'll side with Europeans, and then when things hit the fan, the Europeans will leave them floating in the wind like they'll do anyone else, and yet, they fall for it every time, because as Dr. Welsing talked about, the proximity to whiteness lessens the amount of abuse you will receive in the system of race and white supremacy. Again, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, dc.radical1, Twitter, dc_radical_one. The Cash App is $DC Radical1. And of course, this is the YouTube, capital D, small c, radical, 1, and the email, dc.radical_1@protonmail.com. That is, other than Instagram, that's the second best way to contact me. If you want me to come out, speak in your city, or some other pertinent situation or information you would like to receive or like to deliver. And so one thing black people, hopefully, I just want this is, if there's one thing I want black people to learn, is to focus on us first. When Marcus Garvey said race first as a rallying cry and a call to arms and a call to action, it was pertinent then, and it is pertinent now. And Sister Nina says these types of things keep happening and will continue because we don't think we have enemies. Indeed. She said, where are our black men? Why are we not fighting, stepping up to the plate? Well, I'm going to say this. The truth is going to hurt in this matter. The reality is that in order to neutralize a people, one, you neutralize the men. Two, specifically, you neutralize the young men. How many young men what percentage of young men do you see that actually wear pants on their waist? Right? What percentage of young men have hair longer than women? We really look at the condition of our young men, and this is not to say it is their fault, because these are oftentimes our children and our nephews and things like that. We, again, and I forgot who said it, but you can't send your children to be taught in Rome and be surprised that they come back acting like Romans. And that's what we've done. The integration has destroyed the black identity, and it's going to continue to keep destroying it, because now we have the little Nas X's of the world who said that in essence his target audience, I can't remember the exact wording, but his target audience, is children. And there's another thing we have to remember. Just because I know, the 20 people here know, the number of people that we have that are part of Straight Black Pride know, the number of people who are affiliated to Straight Black Pride know, we make the assumption, we don't even realize how an infinitesimally small percentage of black people we are. Before we there to brother pro-black and plant-based, good to see you, brother. And so we like, why do our people do XYZ? And we're at a time now where 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was easy to get the message out. It was easy to organize people. It was easy to well, hold up. It was not easy to organize people. Let me backtrack and correct that. It was easy to mobilize people. Because there's a difference between organization and mobilization. And I'm going to talk about that one day. Because that is, I don't think that's something that people understand nowadays. And it's a very important concept for those who would be leaders and teachers and organizers to understand the difference. We've seen a lot of mobilization over the last 8-9 years since Trayvon, but we've seen very little organization taking place in that time frame. And I'm always say it virtually every time you see me speak or hear me on a live stream, as long as we refuse to organize, we cannot accomplish anything. And the base organization that we have to work on and rebuild is the Black family. And in fact, the next Saturday night show, because I think I'm gonna start planning the Saturday night shows once a month to just be on black male female discussion, black male female issues. The next one I have planned is where are the conscious or African centered, whatever word you want to use, black families. Because I see a lot of people, of various ages, both men and women, all this stuff, claim they're conscious, pro-black, so forth, so on. Race first, African nationalists, African Moorish, you all throw all the titles up against the wall. Pick one. But where are the families? Why does it appear to me? And again, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, then we can discuss that too. You can point them out and be like, bro, you're missing it. But where are the black men, black women, black children, or black men, black women who both are like-minded, both are conscious, both are aware, both have knowledge, both are African? Where are they? And why does it seem like there's so many people who say they're what they are on the internet, but so few people that you see that you meet in person? And why is it that so many of us are either not married or married to someone who doesn't have any knowledge? Which, I mean, it happens. Sometimes one person comes in and one person doesn't, but it's not ideal. It's not ideal. And so that is a discussion that I believe worth having. And if y'all think it's not worth having, y'all can let me know. Brother, you got ripped off, says the African way of life can no longer exist in a Urugu system. That is, I won't say cannot, I'm just saying it's extremely difficult, admittedly, and they make it more difficult every day. And whatever you thought you were going to do to help that situation, like what we used to do with the singles mixers, COVID, they erased that with that. And Brother Dawood says the grassroots of black people has been hijacked by the gay lesbian movement and the hats to mobilize for wrong causes. Indeed, and literally that's the vast majority of the mobilization that we see. And Sister Shaniqua says she can't wait to listen to that topic. Yeah, and I may get a sister to co-host that, If y'all got any suggestions, let me know. I don't have anybody in mind. I want a sister to co-host it, but I don't have anybody, you know. One, it has to be somebody that I have a good rapport with, somebody I trust, and somebody that knows the straight Black pride philosophy. You know, even if they're not a part of straight Black pride, somebody that knows the philosophy. So that probably will end up being a month from now, but I'll let you all know when that is put into motion. I'll be sure to advertise that beforehand, because I want as many people to come and weigh in on that topic as possible, because like I said, it's entirely possible that I'm wrong and that there are more than I see. I just don't see a lot. And we have events, and there is a pretty strong African-centered community here, and we have plenty of elders, and the elders have children, but when you start getting to their children's children, or them directly being a part of the movement or things like that, that's where you start to see the decline. And so that's an issue I wanted to explore for a while, because I've noticed it, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the solution, which is why I want to have the discussion, and maybe someone else, maybe if the discussion is put on the table, maybe someone else can have some type of positive input into the situation. And you got ripped off, said what about Sister Alkmaar? Yeah, that's, I didn't even think about Sister Alkmaar. She does she has so much stuff going on. She does her own thing so much. But yeah, I will I could ask her. That's a good idea. DM me that on Instagram, or else I will forget as soon as I turn this mic off. But that's excellent. That's an excellent person to ask, to be honest, because she used to being in front of the camera and things like that. Yeah, and she does her own show. That's an excellent person. Thank you for that, brother, for that suggestion. Sister Shaniqua says they really feel like you have to hide your children and family to survive your own people. Elaborate on that, sister. I think I know what you mean, but can you elaborate on that for me? And Sister Nina says, do we have any movements or organizations to influence our young people? I'm not gonna lie, no, at the moment, not that I see. I see some people that have schools. So the people that I see, there are a couple of people that I see that have schools that are positive, but I can't say, and the reason I can't say, because I haven't physically been to their schools, I cannot say that they are staunchly anti Rainbow Coalition, for example, right? And y'all know what I mean by Rainbow Coalition, or as I like to call them, Rainbow Mafia. That's what I like to call them. And the sister says there doesn't seem to be an intentional effort by African first people to develop a residential community. Well, I can't say that, because I don't know what everyone is doing in every city. And when I talk to people, it seems like there are more people in this area than there are in a lot of areas. Like when I talk to a lot of people and I ask them, like, what was it like there? What was the conscious community like in your area? It's almost everyone I talk to says that there are not a lot of people where they are, and if there are, they don't know where the people are, which means there's probably not a lot of people. Because if you live in a city and you lived in it for a while, it's kind you know, you can kind of maneuver your way around, kind of figure out with the internet and things like that where people are and what's going on. But you know, when I talk to people, they're like, there's not a lot of people, and I'm talking about in cities where I think there would be. So it may just be that our numbers are so small that it makes it harder to do anything. And the sister says everyone can be who they want on social media, but real life is something different. Absolutely. And Brother John said keyboard warriors, and Sister Shaniqua says teaching your children who they are make them a target. If you're not part of a community and you don't have you're not sending them to an African-centered school, I can see how that would be an issue. We have multiple African-centered schools here in DC, so I don't see that as much because my interaction with the young people has been over the last 7-8 years, has been with young people who are attending African-centered schools. And so, and those schools, a community is built around the schools, if you understand what I'm saying, so that the parents themselves become a community and the parents interact with each other and support each other and support the programs of the schools and things like that. And so even though they may not physically be all in the same place, a community is built around those schools. And so that helps with that situation. And I think Sister Nina is asking, is the SBP youth program in effect yet? Not as of yet, and we'll let you all know when that's in effect and how things will go. You know, everything is, I hate to say it because I hate I hate to be this way, but because of the way things are like constantly fluid. And because I was talking to somebody earlier today, we have to have built-in flexibility into the things we do, and it's kind of frustrating because you hate to be stuck. You almost feel like you're stuck on tentative, but I mean the reality is, Urugu could say a new strain has come out and we gotta go into lockdown tomorrow. They could do that. Now it's going to get to the point where they say that and people will riot, but you know, that could just happen. That's just the reality of the situation we're currently in. So it is what it is. And Brother You Got Ripped Off says that he said these children watch a lot of the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And Brother Dawood said that should be a topic, African-centered schools. As far as a topic, as far as highlighting them, or really give me a little bit more feedback. Because I have done that before, but I don't think I've ever interviewed the elder Baba Zulu that's here in that has his school here in DC. So I'll have to reach out to him. I hope last time I heard he was doing well, but when all this stuff happened, I haven't been in contact with him. So, and his school, he has the oldest African-centered school in the country. Baba Senzakulu Zulu, and Ujamaa Shule is in Northwest DC, not too far from Howard University. And I believe he started his school in 1968. It was the mid to late 60s. I believe it's either 1966 or 1968. And Baba Zulu is a walking history museum. I mean, he has been doing the work for the community I'll put it like this. He started off in the civil rights movement as a young man, probably college student. So, and he has pictures with almost everybody that you can think of. So, greetings to Lord Bell. Glad you could catch the back end of it. I'm sure you'll catch the replay. He said, just coming from the gym, hey, nothing wrong with that, brother. Keep up the good work in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to check out those yoga classes we talked about in the previous show. But okay, brother, you said highlighting them and what they teach. Yeah, if I can get in contact with Baba Zulu, I'll do that. Of course, Baba Baruti and the Barutis, they have their program in Atlanta, and I believe Marcus Klein is in Chicago. Somebody correct me with that, but I heard a lot of positive things about that brother and his school, although I'm not familiar with him personally. Sister says if Sister Alkamar isn't available. I'm not familiar with that sister at all, so people that I'm totally not familiar with, I usually don't want to I don't like to do stuff with, at least until I get some familiarity, with them. And it doesn't have to be, it can be just a regular sister. It doesn't have to be a big time person, known person, or whatever the case, because I don't consider myself that well known. Sister said he is in Chicago. Okay, cool. And Lord Bell said he donated to Q Butter. Yeah, I know a brother that knows him, as he spoke highly of him. And our wonderful producer says the white man's ice is not colder. We have our own OTWtube.com. Follow DC Radical 1 on there, because do that, please. Because this stream will probably go up on there. I'm assuming our producer wants me to send that to her. And some of the daily content will be going up on there as well. I just, I'm probably at my max of social media right now. I have the YouTube, which I'm trying to build up. Of course, the Instagram was my primary, the Twitter, and the OTWtube. I think that's about the most that I can handle right now. I don't think I can manage anymore, but like I said, we're just trying to get the SBPM message out, because as we see, we're under assault. And those of you that are familiar with Dr. Wellesley, we're under assault in every area of people activity, and the things are coming so fast and furious that if you want to get information out to people and counter the messages that are coming to us, it's almost like you have to really, to be honest, you need a larger group of people and a multiplicity of ways to get the message out. And Sister Farnessa says you might want to get a page on Twitch as well. It can be a backup to YouTube. Well, my backup for YouTube will be OTWtube. So if it gets to the point where they delete me here, and because I don't have that many subscribers, and if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, by the way, because I don't have like a large following, it won't be a big deal. If it gets to the point where I'm tired of them or they're tired of me, then all of my stuff will just end up on OTWtube. That's going to be the solution to that. And eventually, as I see how this YouTube thing works, that's going to be the ultimate transition, is to move over there to Cindy's platform and do what we do there, because I know I can say what I want. Brother Gene says that he said that sometimes I say things without even thinking them about Urugu and other people, which is true. Like, if you ever been to one of my lectures, you know, one time he even tried to say, hey man, make sure you don't say XYZ because of where the venue, which is the exact opposite, because literally as soon as he told me, like, 5 minutes later I said it. But you know, it is what it is. I try to be on my best behavior and present a at least semi-professional demeanor when delivering the message to our people in a mature manner, because there's so few people who do it that way. And I probably, the irony of it is, probably could attract more people by acting in a less mature manner. That's the irony. But you want to give people food and not poison, whether it's physically or psychologically. So, and our sister Cindy is just letting everybody know that we have the radio station and we have the social media as well. So she's putting in a lot of work and a lot of time and effort to build that up, and hopefully you all will support it, and whoever hears this will support it. And maybe I'll get with Cindy and we'll make a commercial to put on the end of some of these live streams just for OTWTube and on the wakeupradio.com. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for taking the time to listen. I thank you all for the interaction that we have, the suggestions, the ideas, the donations, everything that y'all doing to support myself, Straight Black Pride movement, of course support On the Wake Up Radio, Sister Cindy. Again, take the time, spread the message about OTWTube.com, spread the message about On the Wake Up Radio, the radio station, spread the message about Straight Black Pride. And you know, as long as we do this together, we can build something of value and of relevance to change the conditions of ourselves and our people. So with that, brothers and sisters, I say Abibi for Hodie and Straight Black Pride.